So what we have done in the previous class is so I think in the previous class we have seen some input types. Okay. So this is what we have seen in the previous class, like all these elements, label element, and input type is a password, and input type is a number. So like this, input type is a email, right? And we have seen input type is a radio. Yes, I think we have seen up to this, right? In the last class. Let us see some more input types here. So we'll see all input types. Now this is input type. And what is this input type is? Date is here. What is the input type here? Date. Okay, date. So nowadays if you see any form, right? Okay, nowadays if you see any form, yes. Now input elements of type date, what will happen is input elements of type date create an input field that let the user enter which one? Date. Either he can just pick the date. He can enter the date because it will provide what here? Text box. In the text box where you can enter the date. But if you make the input type date is a read only, you cannot enter it. But what you can do, you can select it. You cannot enter it, but what you can do is you can select it, right? So input element of type date, create an input field that user enter the date either within the text box that validates input or a special date picker interface will be. It means you'll get one drop down. What will happen is you'll get one drop down, and using that drop down, which is called as a calendar. Okay, suppose this is called as a date picker, right? Now if you click on this, now this you can call it as date, or this you can call it as a calendar. Now from this what you can do, you can pick the date or not. Yes. In the same way, if you are selecting the input type equal to date, if you are selecting the input type equal to what? Date. Yes. If you are selecting the input type equal to date, it will create one date picker where you can type the date or you can pick the date. Now just use so what I'm writing here is so this is a doc type, is an HTML, and here I'm just using HTML, and there is a head again. So I just give the title. Okay, input type. Input type is what here? Date test. Okay. And there is a body here and form. And here you are writing label for. So for what here? Some date, date of joining. Okay, label for date of joining. And what is a label? Date of joining is a label. And then input type equal to, so what is this here? Date. Input type equal to date. And ID equal to which one? Date of joining. And name equal to what again? Date of joining, right? So I said here required. I said required, and at the same time it is what? Read only. Suppose if I remove this, yeah, I remove this also, right? Input type is, and then input type equal to what here? Submit. So submit button. Now this is creating this is creating what here? Submit button. This is giving some line break. So label for date of joining, and this is date of joining here. Okay, now ID. See, always label will refer to which one? ID. So for will refer the ID of what? Input field. So here date of joining is a label for which input field? Date of joining. Means if I click on this label, so what will happen if I click on this label date of joining? The cursor is placed in input field called which one? Date. If I click on the label date of joining, the cursor is placed in the input field called which one? Date, right? So I just try to run this, open with server. Okay, right now see here. So there is an input field is there or not? Yes. I can also select here. I can also select the date. I can also select the date here, or I can also input what? Date. I can also input the date, but where you have to define the pattern. You have to define the pattern of inputting which one? Date. So it is trying to show how many things here? Two things. One is this is what I said. Input elements of type date create an input field that let user enter a date either with a text box that validates the input or a special date picker interface. Now this is a date picker or not? Yes. By using this, you can also select which one? Date. And it is also defined one input text box or not? Yes. Where you can input what here? Date. So how many things it is displayed? Two things. One is a date picker and one more is what? Text box. It is defined the date picker and one more is which one? Text box. Where you can enter the date or you can also pick the date. And date, input type date is having some attributes. Input type date is having some attributes. And what are the attributes is, it is having a default value and it is having what is a minimum date and it is having what is a maximum date. It is having a default value. Now I can choose default value here. I can select the default value. So input type equal to date and this is date of joining and I'm just writing here value. So if I remove this break here, yeah, just here. So this will display in the same line. Okay. But where is submit? Spelling mistake is there. Okay, right. Now this is which button here? Submit button, right? So yes, just give which one here? Line break. So can you write, can you enter the date here? Yes. You can enter the date. Now this is DD, MM and one more is what? YY. So you can enter the date or you can also pick what here? Date. You can enter the date here and you can also pick the date, right? So once you click on submit, once you click on submit, now this is itself is input field and this is itself is which one? Interface to select. Okay, see here, it will with a text box and it is also provide an interface. Which interface it provide? Date picker. So there is a value and there is a minimum value and there is a maximum value. So there is a value and there is a minimum value and there is a maximum value. But when you open this, I mean, when you run this web page, is it displaying any default value? No. It is just displaying month, date, and one more is what? Year. But you have to select. But what is the default date, month, and year? Is it taken the system date and time? Is it taking the system date or not? Yes. That is nothing but today's date. That is nothing but which date here? Today's date. Okay, today's date. That is called as current date. Okay, but if you want to give some default date, okay, if you want to set the default date, you can simply use which one? Value. Suppose value. Now I try to define the value. Now what is the format? DD, and YYY. Now that is a format. But when you are trying to define the value, how you are trying to define the value? Year, and there is a month, and there is what here? Date. So there is a year, month, and date. Now this is which value? Default value. Suppose I define the default value. I define the default value as, okay, some 2000, value. So 2018, okay, this is called as a year, and this is a month, and this is what here? Date. Just do the refresh here. Now, if I open this date picker, yes, what is a, yes, I need to close this. Yes. Now, once I refresh, now, when you see this, now date of joining, now you can see what is the default value? 07, 22, and 2018. This is called as which value? Default value. If I don't give the default value, is it displayed anything inside the date? Is it displayed anything in the date? No. I have to choose a date. I have to choose a date, month, as well as what? Year. But if I want the default value to be displayed, I can define the value. I can define the value, and this value, you can call it as which value? Default value, which is displayed. Which is displayed in which one? Date picker. Which is displayed in the date picker, right? So once you refresh this, now this is a default value, which is a month, date, and one more is a year. Now from this, can you select any date or not? Yes. From this you can select any date. From this you can select any year, any month. But if you want to define the minimum as well as what? Maximum. I want to define the minimum as well as what? Maximum. How can I define minimum as well as what? Maximum. There is an attribute called which one? Minimum. Okay. So minimum date. So this is a minimum. Now 2018, some 1, right? This is a minimum. This is a minimum, right? And then I want to define, so this is a minimum. Even I want to define which one? Maximum. I want to define the minimum, and I want to define which one? Maximum. This is called as which one? Maximum. So there is a minimum value, and there is a maximum value, and there is a default value, right? There is a minimum value, there is a maximum value, and there is a default value. Now if I select this, now it is, what is the minimum? Suppose January 2018. But can I move up? Can I move to previous year like 2017? No. Because I set the minimum year. What is the minimum year? I said January 2018. What is the maximum? I said 31st December 2018. Now if I select this, if I move it, April, May, June, October, November, December. Can I move down and select one more year calendar? No, because it is set the minimum as well as what? Maximum. So there is a value, there is a minimum, and there is what? Now these are other attributes of which one? Date picker. So input type date. Now input type date is used for displaying which one? Date. Input type date is used for displaying which one? Date, right? So there is a date, and there is also there is a date picker is there, and there is also which one? Time picker, right? Yes, this example I'm trying to copy here. So because now suppose whenever you see any form, you try to input some data, like this data can be either text, this data can be either numbers, this data can be either a date, this data can be either what? Time. Like this you try to input different types of data, right? Yes. The next one is input type. Next one is input type. Input type equal to which one? Time. So there is a date picker and there is what? Time picker. Input elements of type time create an input field designated which one here? Time. And this time is displayed in hours, minutes, and what? Seconds. But this is optional, right? Suppose this is called as which picker? This is called as which picker. Suppose if I click on change the date and time, you'll get this. What is this spinner, right? You'll get this spinner where you select the timer or not. Yes, this is called as a date, and this is called as which one? Time. So time might be displayed in drop down, and time might be displayed in drop down, or time might be displayed in what? Spinner, where you can increase the hours, where you can increase the minutes, you can decrease the minutes, you can increase the seconds, you can decrease what? Minutes, right? So input element of time create a time. For example, yeah, this is date of joining. Assume that this is date of joining. Assume that. So this is okay. This is date of joining, and after that, I'm creating one more label. So label for okay, label for class time. Okay, label for which one? Class time, and this is class. Okay, class. What is that? Timings. This is a class timings, and then I'm trying to create input type, and input type equal to which one? Time. Sorry, input type equal to time, and the ID is okay. What is the ID here? C time. And what is the name? I try to give the name as a C time only. So this is class time, right? So I just try to give the break here. Yes. Now once you refresh this, now you can see the class timings. It is displayed one clock or not? Yes. This is a clock where you can see this is hours and this is what here? Minutes. But seconds is optional or compulsory? Optional, right? So I try to select hours as well as what? Minutes. Now you can see 12:39 AM, right? If I click on this, you can select either AM or you can select what here? Now this you can call it as which picker? Time picker, right? So that is selecting one time. But this is also having minimum, and it is also having which one? Maximum. It is having minimum as well as what? Maximum. But this is given in hours as well as what? Minutes. It is given hours and minutes, minimum as well as maximum. For example, name, C time. Okay, I'm just giving the minimum. So minimum, I'm just writing here some 11. Okay, minimum 11:00. And I try to define the maximum. Maximum is some 01:00, right? So this is a minimum and this is what here? Maximum value. So what will happen if I run this? Okay, now see, now there is a minimum. Refresh. I save this. Now there is a minimum and there is a what is the minimum I've written? What is the minimum I've written? 11, right? But this is in, yes. Minimum I've written 11. 11 means 11 hours. Yes, here 11 hours are there. Okay. Minimum, how many hours are there? 11. Okay, 11 hours. Minimum is 11 hours, right? 11 hours form. I mean, this is in which format? 24 hours format. So I just given it as a 11 and this is what? 01. 01 means I can go for what here? 13:00, right? Okay. Yes. Now 13 means even it is what? Minimum is 11. Now this is in format. See. 11 11 to 13 means it is like this. I said what here? 0, 1, 0, 0. So 11 is a minimum and 1 is what here? Maximum. Say 11. Now this should be in which format? 24 hours format. For example, if you say 0, 9, 18, okay. For example, 0, 9, 0, 9. I just write here 0, 9. And what is the maximum value I've given? Some 18. So 9 to 18. 18 is nothing but 6 p.m. Okay. Yes. So there is a minimum. Suppose I just try to enter 9. Just here I enter 9. Minimum is 9. Okay. Minimum is 9, right? Suppose I've taken some 0, 8. 0, 8, 41 and I said submit. When I click on submit, now there is a error here saying that value must be 9 a.m. or what? Later. But is it time is showing the complete hours or not? Yes. But when you try to select, for example, if you are trying to select some 7:41 a.m. Now once you click on submit, it's giving message what is that value must be 9 a.m. because minimum I selected what? 9 and maximum. Now is it submitted or not? Yes. Suppose maximum is how much? 18, right? Maximum is 18. I just write 18. Okay. If I say submit, is it submitted or not? Yes. Suppose if I'm writing 19, okay, if I'm writing 19, then again it will display what? Message that is value must be what? 6 p.m. or earlier. Because I've defined the minimum value and I define which one? Maximum value. In the same way, minimum is 11 and maximum is, what is the maximum? 13 I've given. Minimum is 11, maximum is 13. If I say here 10, okay, if I give 10, what I've given 10, right? Okay, submit. Now please, sorry. Okay, I just written 10 a.m., right? If I click on submit, it's saying value must be, how much it is? 11 a.m. or what? Later. If I'm saying some 13, 13 is allowed or not allowed? Allowed. Suppose if I'm writing 14, is it 14 is allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Is given message value must be 1 p.m. or earlier, right? So that you can set it by using minimum value as well as maximum value, right? So this date time is having there is a minimum as well as what? Maximum. And I said if you want if you want to make this as a compulsory input field, then you write which one? Required. Required means you must select it or not. Yes. Without selecting, if you click on submit, suppose I have not entered the class timings. If I click on submit, then it will display the message. Please fill out the field. Because this is compulsory field or not? Yes. Because I use one attribute. What is the attribute I use? Required. It means this value is required or not? Yes. So this is called as which one? Time. There is a date and there is a time, and there is date and time. There is a date, time, and there is also date as well as what? Time. Let us see the date and time also, right? So, for example, now this is a form. Yes. For example, there is a input type. So label for date time. Label for date time. Now this is date as well as what? Time. Okay, then I'm saying input type input type equal to what? Date time. Input type equal to date time and ID. ID is for which one? Date time. Okay. And name. What is the name here? Date time. So name is used to identify what? Value. Name is used to identify what? Value. How you identify value? By using name. How you identify the value? By using name. Somewhere not close. So label. Yeah, so the name is given. So what is the name is given? Date, time. So I said here required. Yes. So this is required. Then after that, I just write here input type. What is this here? Submit. Input type equal to submit. And what is the default value of submit button? Submit only. So what is the text is displayed on the submit button? Text only, right? Yes. Now you can also create a date time. So that will display the date as well as what? Time. But generally in application development, what you do is you try to write two different fields. That is date as a one field and time as what here? Another field. But you can also use which one? Date time. So which will display the date as well as what? Time. So there is one more input type is there. And what is that input type is? File. This is again useful. When this file is useful is when you're trying to upload. Suppose you develop. Okay, suppose you develop a form where you are submitting the form. For example, there is a name. Okay, there is a name. Okay, there is a name and there is what here? Address. And this side, assume that there is one button here. What is the name of this button? Upload. And this upload, what is uploaded here? Image. Upload. What you are uploading here? Image. Image, right? So upload. What you are uploading? Image. But how can you upload? How can you upload the image? If I click on upload, it should be displayed one, what is that file? What do you call it as? Suppose once you click on upload, it should display file dialog window or not? Yes. Once you click on upload, it should display which dialog window? File dialog window. Or assume that if you click on, suppose image is displayed in the form of file. File mesh, it will display one file mesh, it will display one text field and that is having ellipse. And once you click on this, it will try to open which dialog window? File dialog window, where you try to upload, you try to select the image and what? Upload. When you try to select the image and then click on which one? Upload. Now input element type file, let the user choose one or more files from where? Device. It means how you select it. For that, you required which window? File dialog window. This is called as which dialog window? File dialog window. And from this file dialog window, you choose a file. Which file to be uploaded? Now, how to display this file dialog window? By using input type equal to which one? File. Input type equal to file. Let user choose one or more than one file from where? Device. Once chosen, the files can be uploaded to the server at the time of what? Submitting the form. When you submit the form, what do you do it? You try to send this file content to which one? Server. So server side, there is one program which will read this content and store in what? Another file. It is stored in another file in which system? Server system. Okay. Generally, where you store these files? You store these files in file system of server. Where you store these files? You store these files in the database. Where you store these files? You store these files into what? Database. But how you send these files data? You send the files data by using request method what? Post. By using a request method is what? Post. How many request methods are there? Two. One is a get. One is a get and one more is what? Post. Post is for writing. Get is for read. In get, what will happen? Whatever data you are sending, that data is concatenated with what? URL. The data is sent in the form of what? Text. But file is it file is, suppose image is a text? No. Image contain big size or not? Yes. Then how can I send the image? You can send the image by dividing into multiple parts. So you define request method as what? Post. You define the request method as post, and even you define some encryption standards. At the time of uploading which one? File. We'll see that. We'll see that in JavaScript how to upload the file, right? Yes. But after selecting the file, how to upload the file into the server system. Okay. Server is nothing but a program which is available in one system or not. Yes. Okay. Suppose you upload file where this file is uploaded in another system, right? That is another system where it is having file system. It will read the data and store in another file, or with the same file name, it will store it, right? But that can be stored in what? Database. But nowadays, people are not storing images into what? Database. Nowadays, people are not storing images into images or audios or videos or documents into what? Database, but they are storing in what? File system. Because database, if you store this data into a database, the size of database is what? Increase. If the size of database is increased, then reading becomes what? Slow. That's the reason these files will not be stored inside what? Database, but rather than they are stored inside what? File system. File system is in the hard disk, but not in the database application. Hard disk, but not in the database application. So you are saying, suppose, assume that, for example, let us see the example for this. File. So I select the new file here. So form tester, some 3.html. So where I'm saying again, doc type. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, this is file input file test. Okay. Yes, there is a body and this is a form, and then label for label for some photo. Label for photo. Now this is, I just display a label as what? Photo. And input type equal to which one? File. Input type equal to file. And ID is what here? Photo. ID is a photo. And name also I'm taking it as a same. What is the name I've given? Photo again. Okay. Then next is input type equal to which one? Submit. Right? Yes. So what will happen? I'll get file input where I can choose a file. Where I can choose what here? File. So I just select the file. Now the image which you want to upload. So just select the pictures, whatever pictures are there. Now it is shown this with the file name or not? Yes. So will you send the file content or not? Yes. Once I click on submit, you send this file content as a part of which one? Request. You send this file content as a part of which one? Request by encrypting this data into what? Multiple parts. You send this data by encrypting this file data into what? Multiple parts. And these multiple parts are read by the program which is there at which side? Server side. That is once you click on which button? Submit button. Right? But how you choose a file? You choose a file by using input type. Input type equal to which one? File. But see, sometimes what will happen after selecting the file? See, after selecting the file, what will happen? Here is it displayed file name? Is it displayed file name or not? Yes. But I want to display this file image. See, after choosing photograph, will it display the photo or not? Yes. How you display that photo? Image. Using which tag? Image tag. Now here, suppose if I take this file, this is a file, right? So input type equal to file, and this is the ID, and this is what? Name. It means, is it this is having a value or not? See, whatever file I'm selecting, see, choose a file. I'm selecting the file. Can you say this is a value or not? This is called as which one? Value. What is a value? What is a value? Is the name of the file. What is a value here? Is the name of the file. And this file you display as a source in which tag? Image tag. You display this file as a source in which tag? Image tag. Image tag. Right? Now, this is your exercise. What you do is, okay, when I select the file, I want that file to be displayed. When I select the file or image, okay, but actually what it is displaying? Image name. But I don't want the image name, but I want to display image. I don't want the image name, but I want to display which one? Image. But this is showing image file, but I want to display the image. But whenever you choose a file, even you can restrict it. You can restrict it by accepting types. Now it is having an attributes called, there is an attribute called ID, there is an attribute called which one? Name, and there is an attribute called which one? Accept. What is this type? What is the type here? Image. What is the extension? PNG. What is the type? Image. What is the extension? JPEG. You are saying that you should able to upload or select or choose only which files? Image files having extension what? .png. You can select only the image files having the extension as what? What is that? JPEG. Suppose if I don't select here accept, then what will happen? Can you able to select any type of file or not? Yes. But I want to restrict what file type. I want to restrict the file type. Then you define the type. This is called as what? MIME type. MIME stands for multi-purpose internet mail extension, right? It will define which type? Content type. It will define the content type. So which type of content you are sending it? You are sending the content of which type? Image. And that content is of which type? Which extension? PNG. Because image is a type, but having different extensions or not? Yes. You find PNG, you find GIF, you find what? JPEG, you find what? BMP. All these are which type of files? Image files, but having different extensions. For example, text files are there. Text type is a text, but you have a different extensions. For example, text file may have extension .txt. Text file is having extension .txt. Assume that the program what you write is also which file? Text file. Might have the extension .c, .cpp, .java, .py, something else. But all these files are which files? Text files. So you are selecting means which type of files you want to accept. And that is defined by using which one? Accept here. Accept. But if I'm writing accept all, I want to accept all, then you don't define which one? You don't define which attribute? Accept attribute. Now you can use accept. What? Image. Okay, images. Okay, image or images. Image. Which type of image? I want to accept only images of which type? Image is a type and extension is what? PNG. Now suppose if I choose, for example, yes, for example, choose a file here. If you select this, okay, suppose what is shown here, this is which file? Now if I see the extension of this properties, this is which file here? PNG file on. We'll select PNG. Is it allowed or not allowed? Allowed, right? So is it file is allowed? Now suppose I try to choose another file. Okay, so this is one file, properties, and this is also PNG. Most of properties, अरे क्या यार, properties, yeah, this is which file? JPG, is it? Okay, now what I'm doing is, okay, choose a file. Okay, I just select the file here. But see, what is the default it's shown here? PNG only. So, but I try to select which images? All images. So I just take one image. So this is an image, but this image extension is what? JPG. But is it selected or? Is it select? No. Is it selected or not selected? Suppose here I said accept image slash PNG I said. But what will happen? Suppose I said PNG. What will happen is if I say, no, just here. What will happen is I select choose a file. When I select here choose a file, what type of content is shown here? Only which files? This file dialog is displayed only which files? PNG files. Suppose I remove this, accept. Actually, it will accept only which type of files? PNG files. There are two usages out there. This is for validating. Suppose I said choose file. Is it displayed which files? All files. Because are you define any type here? No. Now you are telling that, okay, I can choose only which type of files? Or I can choose only which type of files? PNG files. I can choose which type of files? All files. If I don't define the accept, is it displayed with all the files or only PNG files? All the files. Suppose if I select this, accept only, which one? Images, which extension? PNG, comma, images, image, which extension? PNG, comma, image, which extension? JPEG. Okay, now I try to define how many content type? Two content types. One is PNG as well as which one? JPEG. Now it is shown custom files or not? Yes, because it can show only one type. It cannot show which one? Two types. Now it can show only one type, but it can able to accept how many types here? Two types. One is PNG and one more is which one? JPEG. Right? So which type of files you want to show or you want to accept? Now that is defined by using an attribute called which one? Accept. That can be done by using accept. Now accept can define so many extensions. See here, accept dot doc, comma, dot doc, accept dot which one? XML. Suppose application type. Application, which type of application? MS Word. Okay, which type of application? VND. Okay, which type of application? You need to define which type of application it is. See, application specific files will be there. Suppose application, I'll just write extension as what? PDF. Application, I'll just write what? MS Word. Application, which one? MS PowerPoint. Application, what is that? MS Excel. These are different types of application files or not? Yes. You define which type of content should be accepted. Which type of file should be accepted. That is defined by using which attribute? accept attribute. Accept. See, it is nothing but this will show you extension of which one? Files. Extension of files which are accepted by when you are trying to upload which one? File. So that is done by using which one here? Accept. Or you can say it will try to show you a file dialog window with the related which type? File types. By default, it will display all the files or not. Yes. For example, I want to show only which files? Doc files. Then what will I do? I'll say application slash, what will I write? MS Word. Then it will show you. If I say choose file, it will show you MS Word, application, accept, yes, application slash, what I said here? MS Word. Means I want to display only which type of files? MS Word files. I want to display only which files? MS Word files, application slash MS Word. Okay, now suppose I just try to refresh this one. Okay, choose files. Now custom files. Is it shown custom files or not? Yes, because in this file dialog window, is it any type? Is it any other type is there? No. It means if you are talking about window, there is some association will be there or not? Yes. Suppose if .doc, that is associated with what? Documents. MS Word. Okay, .doc is associated with what? Document. .doc, x, extensions files are associated with specific application or not? Yes. But in this dialog window, it is showing how many things? Only two. One is which one? Custom files. And one more is which one? All files. Custom files. Why it is shown custom files? In the previous case, is it shown the PNG or not? Yes. It means there is an association identified by which one? OS. OS is identified the association of which one? PNG. But when it comes to this, MS Word, is it identified or not? Not identified. That's the reason it is shown. What it is shown? Custom files. It means MS Word is which file? Custom file. Now you can choose any file from this. Any file from this. But is it shown any files here? No. Suppose custom files are there. But is it any document file on the desktop? Yes. But here you just write star dot. What is that? Sorry. Star dot. What is that? DOC. Now here, is it displayed the document files or not? Yes. So that you can select specific type of the file. So accept will accept which type of file is. Type. What is the type here? Image. What is the extension? PA. What is the type here? Image. What is the extension? JP. If it is association is done, then it will open. Otherwise, it will display which one? Custom files. If association is there, it will open. Otherwise, it will display which one? Custom files. Okay. Yes. Now you can also define application specific by saying application. Which one? MS Word. Application. You can define different types of file format, like format MS Office document dot word processing dot. What is that? Document. Now these are different. You are saying try to open. I mean the files which are open in which one? MS Word. That files are displayed. That files are accepted by using which attribute here? Accept. Right? So accept is nothing but which type of file extension should be accepted. That is defined by using which one here? Accept. There is one more input type is there. And what is that input type is? URL. There is one more input type is there. And what is the name of that? Input type is URL is there. Input type is a file. And input type is which one? URL. URL is there. URL. Now sometimes you try to write what? URL. So URL is having specific format or not? Is it URL is having specific format? What is the format of URL? What is the format of URL? What is the format of URL? What do you type first? What is the first part? What is the first part? First part of the URL is called which one? Protocol. Second part is second one is what? IP address. You call it as IP address, or the same thing is called as what? Host name. Protocol, IP address or host name. And third one is called as which one? Port number. Is it this both are bind in one name or not? Yes. Then fourth one is called as which one? Resource. Now this is a syntax of which one? URL. Now when you are trying to input URL, why you input URL? Now sometimes you try to input what? URL, means address. Why you input URL? Suppose, assume that for reference purpose. For reference purpose, you want to store that URL into one. You want to store that URL into a database. You want to store that URL into data. Suppose your profile is there. Your profile is not, you are not uploading the profile. You refer the, you refer your profile into LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn address will be there or not? Yes. LinkedIn URL you provide it. Rather than providing which one? Document. Rather than providing which one? Document. You just provide which one? URL. So that once you click on that URL, is it profile is seen or not? Yes. So you are trying to input data in the form of which one? URL. You're trying to input the data in the form of which one? URL. Suppose name is there. Name. And here I'm saying profile. But here I don't upload the profile. Here I don't upload the profile, but what will I do? I provide the URL of which one? Profile. I don't upload the profile, but rather than I provide which one? URL. So once you click on submit here, what will happen? It will store this profile URL into database. It will try to store this profile URL into what? Database. And when you view the profiles, when you click on this URL, will it move to that particular website and display the content of your profile or not? Yes. So how can you enter the URL? You don't enter in input text field, because if you enter in text field, you have to check the validation. But instead of checking validation, so HTML5 is provided some predefined input types. That is where you find the difference between HTML4 and HTML5. Where in HTML5 you find different types of input fields. But in HTML4 or prior, there is only one input field. What is that? Text. There's only one input field called which one? Text. If you want to do any validations, you need to do the validations by writing some code in what? JavaScript. Yes or no? But when it comes to the HTML5, you don't require to create input type. It's only a text and do the validations by using JavaScript, rather than you have a different types of input fields with the different patterns. Patterns are defined. Every field is defined some pattern. Now this is which pattern? URL pattern. Input type equal to email. Define which pattern? Email pattern. Input type is a number. Define which pattern? Number pattern. Input type equal to date. Define which pattern? Date pattern. Input type equal to time. Define which pattern? Time pattern. Suppose I want to create input type as a text, but I want to define date. I want to define what? Date. See here. Now you can do this by using regular. This can be done by using which one? Regular expressions. Okay, you can input type. Suppose I'll say input type is a text. If the input type is a text, can you type anything or not? If input type is a text, can you type anything or not? Yes. But I want to type what? URL. URL means is having one format or not? Yes. Then how you define that URL format? By using one attribute called what? Pattern. And how you define the pattern? You define the pattern by using which one? Regex is nothing but what? Regular expressions. I'll tell you this. Regular expressions. Okay. So using this regular expressions, you can validate what? Inputs. But internal mechanism of all these input types is what? Regular expressions only. Okay. Yes. So which is one of the important thing. Now URL is there. Input type equal to URL. And this is URL format. What is the first one in URL? Protocol. What is the second one? IP address. Third one is the port number and then resources, right? Yes. Then how can I type this URL? I can just write input type. Yes, I just write input type. Now, if it is required, you just write required here. See, all this you can combine and you can create one form. All this you can combine and create one form. See, all these are HTML not over. Okay, HTML is not over. Don't think that RSR is completed HTML. No, HTML is not over. HTML with yes. Okay, now if you complete CSS, then you should think that HTML is over. HTML with the CSS. You come because CSS work with what? HTML only. Okay, CSS, HTML, styling HTML tags is done by using CSS. HTML is a plain. And how you make up? By using which one? CSS. How you style the things? By using which one? CSS. Okay, now. So don't think that HTML is completed. We learn all these things again. Okay, along with the CSS. Okay, right. So CSS is provided. Using CSS, you can lay out the web page. You can format the web page. You can style what? Web page. Okay, now? Yes. But here we are just displaying as a plain or not. We are just displaying as a plain. Nothing is layout or nothing is styled or not. Yes. It is just to display. That's it. Is it any style is there? No. It's a plain. It's a plain. Now I want to do some styling. Suppose this is a choose file. Now I want some border. Okay. Suppose input type is a text. Text is there. Suppose. So don't think that. Okay. Yes. Input type equal to text. Okay. Name. What is the name I just given as a T1, right? Okay. Now once you run this, now can you find the text or not? Yes. Where you can type the text. Okay. But I want this text input field is having border or not? Yes. But I don't want this border. Border should be in some other color. And focus should be in some other color. How can you do all that? CSS. Getting or not? Okay, highlighting. When you move the cursor, I want this to be highlighted. Then how can I do all that? By using which one? CSS. So don't think that HTML is over, but still you have to learn a lot of things related with what? HTML, right? Yes. There is one more. One more input type is there. And what is that input type is? URL. So input type URL. Now this will create what here? URL input field. This will create input URL input field. URL input field. Suppose I write here. Just copy here. Okay. So form. Now there is a placeholder. So I said I discussed about this pattern. So what is the pattern is given? Now this pattern is defined in what? Regular expression. What is that? URL should start with? No. URL should start with what? HTTPS and followed by colon and followed by slash and slash. Pattern. Patterns are not a new concept. Patterns are what here? Old concept. Pattern matching, pattern extracting or pattern matching. I think you are working with database, right? Oracle, right? You'll say select star from EMP. Will you get all the rows and columns or not? Yes. I want to select all the employees whose name starts with A. I want to list all the employees whose name starts with what? A. Starts with A means that is what? whose name starts with A means what? That is a pattern or not? Yes. What do you do it? You'll say select star from EMP where employee name like what? A star. Like A star. A star bolte na? A star means whose employee name starts with what? A. A star. Star is one special character. Star is one special character that define a pattern. Star is one special character that define what? Pattern. If I say A star means after A, any number of characters. Any character or any number of characters. So A star is one pattern or not? Yes. Pattern matching. So patterns you can define here by using what? Regular expressions. Okay, now I'll discuss this. I'll discuss about these patterns again. But see here, what is a pattern is given? HTTPS. URL should start with HTTPS, followed by which one? Colon, and then followed by slash and slash, and followed by what? Dot means not a dot. Star means not a star. There star means star. A star means star. No, star means what? Any number of characters. After which one? A. And here there is a special meaning for which one? Dot. Dot means any character. Dot means what? Any character. Any character. Star means any number of repeated. That character can be repeated any number of times. Star means what? Any number of times. After that dot. Dot means any character. Star means any number of times. Number of times. Right? That is star. But not required. Now see, I'll try to explain it. Okay, don't worry about this. What is the meaning of dot, star? Okay, dot indicates not a dot. In regular expressions, you use some special characters and these are having some special meaning. The special characters are having some special meaning. For example, suppose I want to define the date pattern. How you define the date pattern? DD hyphen MM hyphen Y and Y. So for two digits and how many digits? 4 digits. Then how you write that? 2 digits. Okay, 2 digits means I define the pattern like this. Pattern matching. 2 digits from 0 to, digits means what? 0 to 9. This should be repeated how many times? This should be repeated how many times? 2 times. Okay. Hyphen. Again I'll say 0 to 9. This should be repeated how many times? 2 times. This is a pattern. DD. How you enter DD? From 0 to 9, 2 digits. From 0 to 9 what? 2 digits. What is the length of this? DD? 2 digits. What is the length of MM? 2 digits. What is the length of year? 4 digits. 0 to 9. How many digits? 4 digits. Now this is which pattern? This is which pattern? Here, date pattern. This is a date pattern. Pattern is defined by using which one? Pattern matching. Pattern matching is done with the help of what? Regular expressions. We'll discuss about this. Okay. But just try to understand this one. Here pattern is given HTTPS like this. And what is the maximum size is given? 30. Right? So if you run this, now it is shown with the yes. And you can type. If I suppose I put a submit button here. So, but it is required. Input type. So, input type is a submit. Okay, now. What do you say? Yes, sir. Are you getting or not what I'm telling you? All of you, God, this side. What? Yes. Yes or no? Boys. Tinnara? Hindi. Yes or no? No. Who said no? I'll tell you again. Somebody said no. Hindi. Yes or no? ఏ అందరు చెప్తలేరు. सब लोग बोलो यार, खाना खाए नहीं खाए? ठीक है, खाना बोलो. Breakfast, huh? Yes sir. You understood what is a date? Yes or no? How many input fields we have seen till now? What is the first one? Input type equal to text. Second one is number. Third one is password. Fourth one is email. देखो लड़कियां बोल रहे आप लोग क्या है यार? हाँ, जाके ऊपर जाके कूदो नीचे. हाँ क्या यार? हाँ पढ़ना यार. Now you want to become a full stack developer? Huh? No. What year? Huh? Best. You have to practice. Huh? See, until you don't practice, you don't get anything. Yes. Now next is this one. Don't see. Just see here. So we have seen so many input types. Input type is text. Input type is number. Input type is what is that? Password. Input type is email. Input type is email. Input type is file. Input type is date. Input type is time. Input type is data. Time. Input type is file. Input type URL. There you go. Input type button. Radio. Very good. Nako kudo aap. Yes. Checkbox we have not seen. Okay. Checkbox we have seen. No, we have not seen. Okay. Now full stack means you have to work at the front end as well as what? Back end. So don't think that अरे मैं Java पढ़ता हूँ बस उतना बोले तो चलो जाओ बोलता. Right? Yes. So now you should have a knowledge of both ends, front end as well as what? Back end. Okay, I just remove. Just to see here. Input types. Please try to understand input type because user interface you develop it by using UI. You'll say no, UI developer means not only content writing. Content writing, no. User interface means you have to develop along with the inputs. Forms, you have to develop forms. If it is interactive, because you are not developing a tutorial, right? Ring or not? Are you developing a tutorial kind of thing? No, right? If it is a tutorial, it's just like a book. You just write in Word document and save as HTML. So for that, you don't require to have a knowledge of which one? HTML. But for this user interface, where inputs are done, for that, you require to know HTML or not? Yes. But there are so many HTML editors out there. Now, suppose I'm writing www.nareshit.com. I just click on submit, but it said please enter a URL. What is missing? Is missing http:// submit. See here again it is giving error. www.nareshit.com because http yes submit. Submitted yes. Ring or not? Okay. So this is a pattern or not? Yes, this is a pattern. Pattern is what? HTTPS followed by which one? Colon. Then slash and followed by dot. Slash and slash followed by dot. Dot means not a dot. Any character. And how many repetitions? Any number of repetitions. Right? This is called which input field? URL input field. Where it is useful? Where this URL input field is useful? I said no. URL is for referring or not? Yes. Reference purpose. Refer. Yes or no? Refer. Suppose you're preparing one tutorial. Tutorial is having so many references or not? Yes. Okay. Not only that. Just now I said profile. You want to refer this profile into another website. Now you want to refer this what is that product information in some other web page. For that, what you required? URL. What you required? URL. If you see Amazon websites, Can you find some URLs or not? Yes. So you get only a product, but where that URL is displayed from, somewhere is stored or not? Yes. From that database it is read. But in database that URL is stored or not? Yes. But how it is stored? Somebody has submitted or not? Yes. Somebody has entered that product information. The product information is there or not? Yes. Where it is there in the database? What product? Product ID, product name, and product manufacturing details they put in the in the form of which one? URL. But they put all the information about the product and company. No. They just put a reference as what? URL. That URL, when you display it, it just display only what? URL. When you click on that, it will show you the information about that product or not. Yes. So how can you send a URL? How can you input URL and send it to server? By taking input type as what? URL. This is about URL. There is one more input type which is called as checkbox is there. Input type. Input type equal to which one? Checkbox. Now yesterday we have seen what? Radio. Yesterday we have seen radio. In a group of radio buttons, each radio represent one option or not? Yes. In a group of radio buttons, I can select how many options? Only one. But in a group of checkboxes, I can select what? More than one. If you want to select more than one option, then you represent that as what? Checkbox. If you want to represent only one option, then you represent that as what? Radio button. Right? Okay. So input element type checkbox are rendered by default as boxes that are checked. Checked means what here? Ticked. When it is activated, like you might see in several question papers like that. To exact, now see here. Generally this is a square, but it may have rounded corners. A checkbox allows you to select single values for submission of which one? Form. For example, checkbox. Now how can you create a checkbox? Now you will say input type equal to which one? Checkbox. And there is a ID, there is a name, and there is what? Value. There is a ID and there is a name and there is a value. So multiple checkboxes might have a different. Yeah, just see here. Create another file here. So there is a beginning. Yes. I close which one? Yes. So this is a label for some checkbox. What is the checkbox here is courses. So these are some courses are there. Then I'm saying here input type. Input type is checkbox. And there is a name. So I just taken courses as a name. And then I've taken the ID as what here? Courses. Okay. Now what is this? Sorry. And this is also having a value. And what is the value I've taken is, so the value I've taken is here, some Java. And what I'm displaying here? Java here, right? Now input type. See, when the value is selected here, value can be, this value is sent when you select the checkbox and submit the form. When you select the checkbox and submit the form, So I'm just writing input type. What is this here? Submit, right? Okay. So there is a value and there is a name and there is a ID, right? So what I'm doing is I just try to run this. I put in the next line here. Now this is a courses and this can be selected or deselected, right? So once I click on submit, what is the name of this checkbox? Courses. And what is the value of this here? Java. So will you create a checkbox group? Okay. Yes. For example, I just put this in. Okay. Now I want to create a checkbox group. So where you select more than one value or not? Yes. You select more than one value here. Suppose I select Java. If I click on submit, what is the value of courses here? Java. Okay. Suppose I try to put one more course. So there is one more course here. So there is one more course. And what is the value of this course is Python, right? I just write here this. Okay. Now this is Python. But is it name is the same or different? Same. Because it is one group. Because it is one group. I select Java and I select which one? Python. Now you can see courses equal to which one? Java, and courses equal to which one? Python. So at server side, this is sender with the course as a key, and Java, Python is what? Values. Okay. For example, if you are working with the servlets, it is stored in hash map. In hash map, there is a key. What is the key? Courses. Courses is the key. One key is mapped with how many values? Two values. So one key can be mapped with more than one value. Suppose I select Java, only Java. Now what is the value of courses? Java. But what I'm telling you is you have to give the same name. Name is the same, but assign how many values? Two values. Name is the same, but assign how many values? Two. If I select this two, suppose if I select Java and Python, what is the name? Course. It is sent with how many values? Two values. If I select only Java, what is the name? Course. What is it with the value? Java, right? So just to remember this, because this might be helpful. Suppose, assume that I take one more group. Suppose assume that assume that label. Okay, label for some other courses. Now this is for what here? Some language. Okay, I'll take this name for this is for language. I'll take this because this is one group which is a language group, but having multiple. Okay, this is having multiple values. Okay, so language group, and this is languages. These are what here? Languages. Okay, now label for what is this? Some database. Okay, now these are which one? Databases. Okay, now I'm trying to create some checkboxes here. Okay, now these are checkboxes. And what is the name I've given here is database. So I've taken ID is also same. So ID is also which one? Database. And there is a database called which one? Oracle. So when this value is sender, when you select it. Okay, so what is the value here? MySQL. And what is this text here? MySQL, right? Yes. Now here I have to change to database. So this is a database. This is also database. Okay, right. So there are, how many groups are there here? Two groups are there. So one is languages and one more is a database. I select Java and which one? Oracle. So we can see language is Java and database is Oracle. Suppose I select Java, Python and Oracle. Now you can see language Java, language what? Python, but database is what? Oracle. Now it means how this is stored. I said no, at the back end it will send as one key with how many values? Two values. At the back end, how it will send to the back end is with one key and with multiple values. Now you can see language equal to Java, language equal to Python. And database is equal to Oracle and database equal to what? MySQL. See here, can you see here, right? When you can see this data, when the data is concatenated with URL, if you send a request using which method? Get method. If it is a get method, then only you can see on which one? URL. If it is not a get method, can you see on the URL? No. Okay. If the request method is a post, it is sent as a part of what? Request body. It is sent as a part of request body, right? So this is value and one value. So value is written when you select it. Value is written when you select it. Now, if you want to handle multiple checkboxes, then you have to create what? A group. But how you create a group? By writing with the same name or different name? Same name. Okay, you don't write with a different. Now, I just written some examples. You don't write with a different name. You write with what? Same name. Now, this is having some default. This is having some attributes. Now, in this, I said only two attributes. One is three attributes. One is the name and second one is ID and third one is what? Value. But suppose when you run this, I want default some checkboxes to be selected. But is it any selection is done in this? No. I want in the languages, I want default. You should select which language? Java. In the databases, I want default. You should select which one? Oracle. But is it anything is selected or not selected? Not selected. Then what do you do it? You use one attribute. Now you use one attribute in checkbox. And what is that attribute is? Checked. Okay, you try to use the attribute called which one? Checked. Which one is checked? Alright, which one is checked here? Java is checked. Default, which one is checked? Java is checked. But you want both to be checked, then select what? Checked and check. Now in the Oracle, I want default. Default, it should check which one? Oracle database. Now, which one is selected? Java. And which one? Oracle. But until unless you don't use an attribute called checked, is it by default? Is it checked or unchecked? Unchecked. You have to check explicitly, right? Yes. So there is an attribute called which one? Checked attribute. Yes. Are you getting or not? All of you? Yes. Please try to understand. Still, you have to learn a lot of things. Okay. Still, you have to learn a lot of things. Okay, now. This is input type equal to which one? Checkbox. Checkbox. The next one is, there is one more input type is there. For example, I want to create an input type called which one? Drop down. This is which one? Drop down. I want to create a drop down. From drop down, when you select one or more than one, अरे इसके अंदर से कितने सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं यार? एक ही है ना. मोर देन वन कैसे सेलेक्ट करते हैं यार? दो फॉन्ट सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. अरे क्या यार, टू मच कर रहे आप. हाँ, yes. So drop down. I want to create which one? Drop down. In the same way, I want to create a text area where I can type multi-line in text box. In input type text, you can input how many lines of text? One line. For example, address is there where I want to type multiple lines. Then I'll go for which one? Text area. Lot of controls are there. Okay, na? So tomorrow I'll tell you how to work with the drop down list and how to work with the text area, and even I'll tell you regular what? Expression patterns, pattern matching. Okay, pattern matching or input. Pattern matching is used for what? Input validations. And we'll see some more controls. We'll see lot of things. Don't worry. You want me to teach HTML, JavaScript, CSS for 6 months? I'll teach. Are you ready? No. You want everything fast track? No problem. I'll try to give you a maximum subject. Don't worry. Okay. We'll see some beautiful website designing. But once we move into what? CSS. Okay. Don't ask me now. That is how to put that this. No. Layouts and all the things we'll see in what? CSS. Then you ask doubts like how to lay out the page and everything. Okay. But now we are learning only HTML. Then if you have any doubts related with HTML, you ask. I'll tell you. Right? Okay. So thank you. We'll see tomorrow that. Right? Thank you. Right. Email, but you have to check the validation. Suppose email will have some pattern, right? In text also you can. So that pattern you have to validate. For that you need to define which one? Pattern. Inside the text field, in which pattern you want to input email. That you define it by using which attribute? Pattern attribute, right? Otherwise, you enter the text. If it is not valid, then what will happen? It will submit, right? Yes. So how can you validate? How can you match the pattern of email? You have to define which one? Patterns. My bola na. ID is used within the page to refer that control. Okay. It is used for CSS. Okay. Styling. It is used for what? Styling. ID selector बोल के रहता है CSS में. The malware. Okay. Name is to identify. Suppose you enter the value. You enter the value. There is a value for checkbox, right? How can you read the value of that checkbox? By using name. Name is just like a variable name. Okay, name is just like a variable name which hold what? Value. That is what I'm saying. No? ID is used for referred by other controls. Okay, suppose label control is referring to which one? Checkbox. But how it is referring it? By using ID. जब मैं लेबल पे क्लिक करे तो किधर जाता कंट्रोल? चेक बॉक्स पे जाता. और कल मैं बोला ना, कल आए ना आप लोग सर इनपुट के बाहर तो अपन लिखते हैं और ईमेल लिखते हैं, तो फर्क क्या है सर? व्हाट्सएप होता है ऑफिस. एक कल मैं बोला ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस इज एक मिनट इधर देखो ये. కింద ఆయన ఉంటాడమ్మా, ఆయన ఒక్కసారి కనుక నాకు రెస్పాండ్ అయితే లేడు. ఆయన కింద అడ్మిన్ ఉంటాడు, ఆయన ఒక్కసారి కనుక్కోండి. ఓకే. Suppose if I click on this, cursor is moved here, right? So how it is referring? This label is per this field, right? If I click on this, it is referring to which ID you are. क्या दिया अपन ID क्या दिए यहाँ पे you are. This is a label for which input field है which input field. So what is the ID of this input field है you are. जब यहाँ पे क्लिक करें तो it is referring to which one. अरे यहाँ पे क्लिक करें तो is referring to which one. This ID input field. समझ में आया क्या ये. Suppose see this is a label. This label is for a label किसके लिए to identify this input field, right? This label is for to identify what this input field. आपके बुक पे ऊपर लेबल रहता किसके लिए वो बुक क्या है बोल के हाँ वो लेबल है ना चिपकाते क्यों चिपकाते हाँ ये लेबल किसके लिए इसके लिए है ना हाँ अगर इसके ऊपर क्लिक करे तो मैं देन शुड एक्टिवेट दिस राइट. कैसा लिंक कैसा होता इसका लिंक कैसा हो रहा पर which one पर which one लिंक कैसा हो रहा है यार पर दिस इज अ लेबल पर which one URL. ये URL क्या है आईडी है ये URL क्या है इसका आईडी है मैं कल बताया ना यार ये पूरा यहाँ पे क्लिक करे तो इट विल एक्टिवेट समझ में आया.